Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Chompy and the Girls. Alright, interesting title there. Cast and crew information down below. And let's see what this is all about with the IMDb plot here. A troubled woman meets her father for the first time, and their encounter goes from awkward to alarming when they witness a man swallow a little girl whole. Interesting. Alright, so Chompy and the Girls. Originally did a press release for this for promote horror, and I saw a couple of the pictures for it in the release, and honestly, I had my doubts about it. I was like, oh my god, what is this? You know, do I want to watch this? I don't know. The pictures are of, I guess some of them are obviously the ones that are going to get you are the ones of Chompy here, and when I see that, it either tells me one thing: either this movie is going to be really bad, or this is going to be one of those movies that you think it was really bad, you're going to turn it on and be like, okay, there's something a little interesting there. And honestly, again, I'm shocked that I actually turned this on, but I did. I gave it a chance. Admittedly, like I said, I get a lot of screeners and a lot of movies come across me here, and I get a lot of options to watch a lot of movies, and some I watch and some I pass, and I can't watch everything. I wish I could watch them all. Then again, to be honest, there's some that I wish I didn't watch, and there's nothing more than I hate to do than a bad review, and I hate when people push me to do reviews when I don't really like a movie, because I don't come on here to trash movies, and I know that there have been, over the course of time that I've been reviewing movies, and especially when I first started, I used to see people, or certain people, that I don't even know how they love the movies or how they loved at least horror, because they seemed to trash more horror movies, or talk at least more of the bad in the movies than good, and it really confused me. So I really get no pleasure out of doing a review that I don't like. Admittedly, at first there were some. I'll admit there's some, like Twilight. I loved getting on there and bashing that, and that's the only reason I did reviews for that. My hate for that, but so if you guys see that I'm doing a review, it's more than likely I've at least thought it was an alright movie, at least. So where's Chompy gonna land here? Again, honestly, I really didn't expect to hit play for this one, but I did, and it starts off a little funny, because you're following again here a young woman, then you pull up her Jackson, and you see her at the beginning, and you see she's a little bit, maybe you don't know obviously a whole lot of her to start, but you kind of pick up real quickly that maybe she's been using some drugs, she's not in a good place in life, and maybe she's not well accomplished at what she's trying to do, because it appears that she's either practicing or going to attempt suicide, but is not very good at it. At least when I turned it on, I wasn't really sure whether she was really truly trying to commit suicide, or she was just kind of practicing and kind of got caught up into it and almost ended up dying. Anyway, you kind of get past that, and she's just in that place. I think a lot of people have found us in life where maybe we're struggling mentally, or just struggling with what to do next. Maybe you're hard pressed for money, hard pressed for a job, or just in a bad place, and you kind of get that, and you're not really sure what to do next, and that's kind of where she is. So in turn, why not? Why not reach out to your supposed long lost father at a time where you're kind of lost, and maybe something will come of that. So you get that quick introduction to Jackson, then you get a quick introduction to her father, and he's a unique character kind of in his own right, and he might be in a similar position because he's kind of in a weird spot in his marriage, and you're not really, you kind of see him come in and you see a little bit of his wife there, and you get a quick glimpse of their relationship, but then you're going to quite quickly kind of pick up that maybe it's a relationship that's ending or not, maybe neither party is sure where they go next, or maybe they're just not happy with where they are individually and together. So long and behold, he gets this text message that, hey, come meet me, I could be your daughter, blah, blah, blah. He goes and he meets her in this park, and, they're having the kind of conversation that you might have if you're meeting your father for the first time, or you're meeting your daughter for the first time, a little bit of awkwardness there, and really unsure, what to do next now that you've met and so forth. And just as this kind of is wrapping up, and they're kind of like need something to almost break the ice of the moment of where to go next, or how to handle the situation, just a little bit beyond them, a guy kind of walks along, and there's a little girl standing there, and unless you've seen some of the pictures or even the trailer for this, it's hard to describe, but I guess it's a guy who walks up, and all of a sudden his mouth is really big. He's called Chompy for a reason, and he basically kind of leans over and swallows the girl. And it's a little bit in the background, but it's still, both the Jackson and her father see this, and the audience sees this and is kind of like, what the hell? I think it's a awkward moment for them and the audience, because you're just like, what just happened there? You kind of see Chompy and you're kind of like, and then he does that and you're like, what? And then obviously they see that Chompy sees them, and Chompy kind of turns towards them, and as soon as he kind of turns and starts walking in their direction, they book it back to their cars and flee the scene. Obviously, smart thing to do, not stand there and be like, hey, what are you doing? What did you do with that little girl? And blah, blah, blah. Like we yell at the screen sometimes in other horror movies. So they flee the scene, and they think that that's the end of it, but no, not quite. Now Chompy is out to get them, and I guess this in a way sort of forces father and daughter to at least spend some time together and get to know each other, because Chompy is going to come after them. And since this is, I should have mentioned at the top, this is a new release and digital release. I'm going to be a spoiler free here and kind of leave it at that. And just say, that, Chompy is going to come and after them. And like I said, that they're going to get together, and the wife is there. There's a couple other characters that are going to be involved with this. And, an adventure ensues. There's going to be a little bit of twist and turn here. Obviously a little bit of, I guess fantasy is in this. Let's see what IMDb has this. IMDb has this listed just as comedy horror. Definitely is, and I think when you look at Chompy, you're gonna laugh, and it's kind of interesting, and it'd be interesting. Maybe this is one of those movies where you kind of want to see maybe the behind the scenes stuff and kind of see how they did Chompy, and maybe some of the outtakes and so forth. You might have to give it a little bit of leeway here as far as the special effects and so forth, and pulling off some of the things. But I think if it's done all right. I'm not gonna be a major stickler here and be like, oh no, they missed it here and there. I think if you're willing to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, um, you can ride with it. If you're gonna be super strict, then it might piss you off a little bit. Again, I don't want to spoil things because there are things that are going to happen here that kind of lead in that direction of maybe they did well, or I think they did well for what they did, and obviously what they do, that's a challenge. It's a challenge, visually, and I'm gonna guess, I don't know the budget here. I'm gonna guess this wasn't a huge budget, so I think they did well with probably the budget that they had, and with the ideas they had, because I can credit them for having no fear in doing what they eventually do, because it could have been easy for them not to, because it's hard to pull off, and maybe because of the money or the effects and blah blah. But they go for it, and they did it, and I think they did it in a well fashioned. The movie's well done, well acted. It's not one of these low budget things where you're like, it's hard to kind of get through. The quality is there. Chompy's obviously an interesting thing, and like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. A little bit of a kind of fantasy element also to it. I think I read somewhere. I think it was in the press release. That they kind of wanted to touch on mental, overcoming mental challenges and mental issues and so forth. And like I said, Jackson kind of has that at the beginning. She's just not in the right frame of mind, and I think you see moments throughout that, even though I think it is for both of them, they have their challenges and their hurdles to overcome, and some of that is mentally. And obviously there's, like I said, suicide at the beginning. There's obviously that angle for it as well. And kind of trying to find your place in life. I obviously the father's been married and so forth, but that doesn't mean that he's found his real place in life. And I think you see that, and you see that from even his wife and maybe some of the other characters, and definitely Jackson. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, about where it goes, but there's a point where she's kind of left with a decision, and she makes a big decision, and doesn't end up being a final one, but I think it kind of gives you light to that. Kind of shows that she's overcome some things as this movie kind of goes along. But yeah, I would say, I think if you see the picture of Chompy or whatever, that's either going to get you to watch this movie, or kind of maybe strike that fear in you that maybe this is just going to be a cheese fest and I shouldn't watch this. And that's mainly the kind of the reason why I wanted to do this review, or at least whatever. It's kind of push you towards the movie and say, it's I don't think this is gonna land. Honestly, no offense to the movie, I don't know that it's gonna land on anybody's top 10 list, but I think it's a movie worth watching. It's not a cheese fest. The acting is good. There's some really funny moments in it, and I think Chompy in itself, depending how you take looking at him, I think it's funny looking at him. But there are some really funny moments in here, and they have fun with it, and so I think there's enough to enjoy here. It is a horror comedy, so it's not, I don't think there's not a whole lot of blood and guts here. It's not that kind of movie. So you have a little bit of, like I said, that little bit of messaging in there to get through, but nothing thrown heavy at you. I think that was kind of the starting point, and then they had this bizarre Chompy idea to go with. But I encourage you to check it out, and that's why I think I'm going to give it three pools of blood here. It's one of those ones that I watched it. I took the gamble, and I'm glad I did. I enjoyed it enough. I think there's enough there for horror fans to enjoy. Obviously, not a big title movie, so you might miss it. But if you guys come across it, I definitely encourage you to support it and check it out, and just something that you may not be aware of and know a lot of, and but you can give a chance, and something that's not on Netflix or Amazon or anything like that. Maybe it will be at some point, but at least to start, I don't think it is. So with that, yeah, I think that about covers Chompy and the girls, and the girls part you'll see. I don't want to get into that. That kind of lead to spoiler territory. You'll get to see the girls part of it. So with that, yeah, 3 pools of blood, and that again is out of 5. And with that, horrorsquadreviews.blogspot.com. It's where you can find more reviews. The video reviews are there, but if you'd like just the video reviews, you can always hit that subscribe button. But if you're looking for the written reviews, they're there. Many going years back, all kinds, different kinds of movies. Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. If you want to talk about this movie, other movies, talk horror, or love talking horror, feel free to reach out to me there. If you have something you want me to review, you can do it there as well. Twitter is probably a little bit better than Facebook, but that's fine either way. Or in the comments section, comment about this video, about the review, or about the movie. Or if you want, just try to get in touch with me, and that's the only place you think you can. Go ahead, it's fine. Leave a comment there as well. So with that, I'm going to move on, and I'm glad that I have not been swallowed by Chompy. And I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.